obviously the Oilers don't have a lot of cap space to work with, and they're kind of waiting on the Mangiapane thing to play out. But like, are they gonna be able to take any kind of big swing when the deadline comes and goes, or are we just gonna be looking at it being like they got a third line center and a depth defenseman?
I think they're going to try to stretch a single into a double into a triple, like something like that.
Okay.
Because just cap wise, again, like we've talked about, unless they're getting creative all over again, I don't see it. I don't. Now, if somebody takes the full Mangiapane pop, which I mean, if they did, that would have happened already. But argument's sake, that happens. You free up 3.6. Or even 3 million or whatever, then different story, different ball game. There's now you've got an opportunity to take a bigger swing. But we'll see. And then I mean, look, they can package him and add to it and try to get something back that fits what they're looking for. But again, it hasn't happened already. They've had the opportunity to go down that road. The other thing too is some of the players that I believe they've checked in on, or poked around on. Some of them who are pending UFAs. Their teams are waiting to see if they have a realistic shot at keeping them, and they're utilizing that Olympic gap in the schedule. Olympic break is the word I'm looking for. English is hard sometimes. To see if they can get some housekeeping done. Can we sign you? And if not, then all right, we've got some runway to make trades ahead of the deadline. They can still talk during and negotiate trades during the Olympic break. But you can't execute anything until the break gets lifted, and the roster freeze gets lifted. So I think some teams are utilizing that time period to get that idea or those ideas out of the way. We can sign you, awesome. Let's figure this out. We can't, or we deal with it later. Well, we don't want to go in that direction. We don't want to lose out on an opportunity to get some assets here for you if you're not fully committed right now. And I think that's what the Oilers might wait on if nothing kind of transpires over these next 12 days.
Just to follow up quickly, is it fair to say that, like, so I'll just bear with me.
We always do, buddy.
Okay. The Vegas Golden Knights obviously always take the big swing, and Oilers fans sit there and are like, the Oilers never do it. But if you actually look, it's like they always do it. Like they were trying, from what was reported, I believe, they were trying to get Rantanen last deadline, and it just didn't work out. And they were trying to get guys as some like blockbuster. Like Stan Bowman's not just sat here satisfied with like nothing, right? I know he just kind of walks through like they kind of have to be a bit patient, but like he wants to bring in the best player.
They trade first-round picks every deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, they're not afraid to take those swings. It's just, obviously Rantanen is sexier name. Whoever else that like those caliber players, it just hasn't worked in their favor. Not yet anyway. Like, did they have a Stankoven to move in this deal? Like after the fact when Carolina swapped that out. Did they have a Martin HS to move in the initial deal that they were willing to move? No. So when you're dealing with that caliber player, you've got to give to get. And yeah, you could take some swings by making different types of deals and dealing out prospects and dealing out picks and going from there. But for the other caliber players, they didn't have that centerpiece asset to incorporate into a deal to make that happen. So it's not like Stan Bowman's just sitting here going, I hope somebody calls me because I'm bored. Like he's out there doing stuff and trying to figure things out. It just, we haven't seen that action. It's not that he's not trying. It's just the asset management pool or the asset pool itself is different than what some of the other teams are willing to part with. And because of the cap proximity and some no trade restrictions on some guys, it makes the juggling act that much more difficult. Like I've been steadfast on this all season long. I'm expecting some interesting moves from this team in the offseason when they freed up some cap space. Until then, they've got to navigate these waters pretty delicately. Like they're seeing the rocks and they're still avoiding them. And I think they can get through it. It's just there's still several weeks to go here before they have to stop making those.
If you were to bow out early this year as the Oilers and you are, one, desperately trying to improve your team, trying to make a big splash, but also, maybe if you're Stan Bowman, there's a little bit like, all right, Connor's got 2 more years left. What can we do to keep him happy? Bringing in his boy Robert Thomas this July.
Unreal.
Boy, would that ever check a lot of boxes. But like you said, they don't have a Stankoven or any. They like putting together a package, trying to think of like what the Oilers could give the Blues that's of value enough for them to want to trade you back Robert Thomas. Like, I don't even know where you start. Like, every first-round pick for the next 3 years because you don't have prospects?
You need Savoy to have a great playoffs.
Yeah, that's
basically, that's kind of the avenue you would have to go down to start with.
Or hope St. Louis loves Ike Howard.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Neither. Sorry. They don't have... Like, St. Louis is willing to go down this road and explore it, but they don't have a 22 to 25-year-old budding star that's relatively proven that they can incorporate into a deal. I think they're, as I said, every indication that I've been given is that there's going to be some creative ways to tinker with this roster or serious attempts to do it because it takes 2 to tango. But going that path, summer. Until there's more flexibility. The cap's going up $8.5 million. You're going to have more runway to make some moves happen, and you don't have to worry about goaltending because you've crossed that off your list. So you can look in other areas to make impactful additions. And I think there are some options that are going to be available to them that fit that similar mold, but not to the level of a Robert Thomas or a Rantanen-esque type of player. But those that complement and play well with the Leons and the Connors. But until then, this is for me, I went into this season for the Oilers, and we've talked about this before, at least I've mentioned it, as a quasi-transitional year. Because of how hamstrung they are, I don't think they can do the business they'd like to do now. It's going to be in the summer. Now, they can go on a heater. They can go on a crazy run. Yeah, Savoy can break out. All of these different things can happen. And back to a cup final, or they hoist the Stanley Cup, or whatever. But I'm still, and that'd be great, but I'm still anticipating the offseason for them to be pretty colorful.
So is this where we now ask about Jared McCann being that guy who's just a tier below, or are we saving that
we'll
for a different
save that
question?
for next week.
Yeah, well, you got to get out of jail free card on the Jared McCann talk.
Instead, let's go to goaltending.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's always got to be one of the two.
Calvin Pickard, obviously, the third guy on this team right now. And I think there was always the assumption, or maybe just no one really thought about it, that he would just be fine with the role.
I assume that. I'm he'll be happy to be here.
Yeah,
he's not.
And then there was the quotes he had with Spector the other day where he basically just says, I'm pissed. I'm not happy that I'm in this spot. Is there a part of all of this where it's just he's just going because he becomes unhappy?
Well, look, he's a competitor. All these guys are. They want to play. You want to win, and you want to play, and you want to help your team win. Nowadays, especially come playoff time, you need 3 goalies. You need to have your starter, you need to have your backup, and you need to have a guy who can step in if, God forbid, somebody gets hurt. The Oilers are in a good position because they've got depth at that position right now. Sucks for him. And I think if I'm the Oilers and he's a pending UFA, I'm just looking at this going, these are the cards, buddy. I'm sorry. We'll get you in when we can. But we have to do what's best for the team right now. And given his cap hit, it's a luxury right now for them to have this little predicament. He'll still be pissed. And I think, or at least I hope anyway, that they've relayed this message of how the goaltending situation is looking for this team. But I think, unfortunately for him, this is just what he's going to have to deal with between now and May, June, whenever the season ends for them.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a question? I have one. I have
Go,
a couple more.
all you.
Do you mind if I give you a homework assignment for next week? Is that okay?
Yes.
He has to say yes to that.
Jeez. No, yes, I do mind. That's the joke I'm making.
Can you let us know when Adam Henrique is going to be back? Because I want to know if the Oilers are going to have his cap space at the deadline.
Liam's spidey senses are tingling on this one.
I think he's out for a while.
I have not dug on it, and I promise I will dig on it. So I will try to let you know. And if I know sooner, I'll give you guys a heads up.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.